Greetings, Earthlings. It's another day in hell on planet Earth, otherwise known as the slave ship. Used to think of myself as the planet peace woman, wanted to be known to history as the planet peace woman, somebody who was calm and forgiving and loving and kind. But after the things I've been through in the last several years, primarily battling with the FBI and Interpol, individuals who sell cocaine, sell human beings, drug, rape, and traffic unconscious or otherwise cognitively compromised human beings, murder people to sell their body parts on something called the black market for such things, and abuse animals, and abuse animals, and abuse animals who are innocent of humanity at all. I'm pretty much thinking I'm going to get a judge to help me change my name to Justifiably Outraged Love. If Christ came back and everybody, oh, big deal, it's Christmas, well, whoever thinks about Christ anymore? If this really major dude, this great person who used to live, but for only 33 years before basically the mafia in the clothing of Pontius Pilate slaughtered him because he was jealous and afraid of the power of his beauty and his love, if Christ came back, he would be pissed and rage. And although I read the Bible when I was 7, then again when I was around 19, I did pick up Revelations recently, and there's been sort of a Mandela effect. Apparently, it used to be called The Revelations, and it was the only book of the Bible that had "the" in front of it, a definite article. But now it's just called Revelation, as if it was only one. Um, Christ is outraged. He comes bringing a sword. He boils rivers and burns land. And, I'm thinking, I remember why that discomfited me when I was a child. The anger I saw in Revelations didn't make sense to me because here was this loving shepherd, and then all of a sudden he comes and tortures innocent plants and animals. I hope whatever happens to this world doesn't happen to the plants and animals, because the plants and animals are truly innocent. It is only humankind that needs to be destroyed. The only species on this world that has earned its extinction is man. And from what I can tell, that extinction is happening now. Unfortunately, we seem hell bent on taking all other forms of life with us, which is the real tragedy. Um, I just heard a news conference with some people in San Francisco, including but not limited to the mayor. She's angry, and she was so cool. She said, the criminals that are running our city and ruining our city for everyone uh, need to take notice because we're tired of this. And then she said the BS word, yeah, right in public. She's cursing them out. And and I immediately thought that the criminals she needs to stop, first of all, are the ones in judges' robes, the ones in cop costumes, the ones in the sheriff's department and California Highway Patrol. The police, the judges, the sheriff's deputies, the CHIP, the people that we all need to be able to trust to be above and beyond any kind of corruption. When they do become corrupt, when they do in fact engage in a lot of criminality, they teach us not to trust them. They teach us not to trust society. And they teach us that vigilante justice is apparently the only kind. I used to be extremely critical and just condemning of people in other countries who just take matters into their own hands. And if somebody hurts your sister, you drag them into the river and beat them or something. I thought, wow, that's so uncivilized. But I didn't understand then that they were members of a society that had failed them, and that whatever tax dollars they were paying were not going to law enforcement. They were going to criminals who were in fact running the game. Now I had lived, excuse me for a moment. Speaking of criminal behavior, I got smashed in the face years ago by someone who didn't want me to try to stop him from dealing drugs. And I leak cerebrospinal fluid out of my face sometimes, which could cause me to die if too much of it happens. Yeah, justifiably outraged love here, continuing. Um, the people that we're supposed to be able to trust have to be trustworthy. And when a judge takes cocaine or sexual favors in exchange for a favorable ruling, or a cop proselytizes for the cause of his doing cocaine or speed on the job because, after all, he needs to stay up all night and be alert, or because, whatever. Oh, they don't make enough money, they need to buy their house or get their kids college tuition or whatever, so they're on the take. This is a crime against society. And so, although I truly understand why the San Francisco mayor and others are so angry, I also understand that the criminals she needs to go after, first of all, are the ones in her employ, the ones she signs the paychecks for. Yeah. And living in an urban area, uh, it's very, very sad to see this level of corruption. Several years ago, a sheriff, and I'm not going to say in which county, got calls from frightened citizens and said there's some sort of gangland shootout at a convenience store in such and such a neighborhood that you have jurisdiction over, and we're concerned that someone might be caught in the crossfire. And so, dutifully, that person sent some of his deputies to discover, to his shock and his shame, that it was some of his own deputies shooting at each other in a convenience store parking lot, risking citizens' lives because there was some kind of drug deal that had gone bad. It was the sheriff's deputies themselves that were dealing the drugs in that neighborhood. I also heard of another context in which some cop got into a squad car, or one of those blazer type of things that they use in some cities, like a SUV, and he rode shotgun very literally and just went around shooting up neighborhoods. And when I heard about this, I was really shocked. I said, "Why on earth would anybody do that?" And the cop, one of the cops who knew about it, was telling me about it. Said, "Well, we just wanted to show people who's boss." Only in America, huh? I'm so tired of people from other countries trying to get here. I know it must be horrible in some other countries. It must be tragically bad in some other countries. But they get here and they find this level of corruption. People of color, people with foreign accents, people who don't speak English well as if they were native born citizens. All these people are likely to be targeted by individuals who are prejudiced against their race, their culture, their language, their face. And some of those people who are really prejudiced are wearing cop costumes. Beware. Do not come to the United States of America. Figure out where else to go. There may be countries where you're going to have more freedom, more liberty, more justice for all than the one you're in. But people, it ain't here. In my life, I have been personally acquainted with 5 judges who were appointed or elected, depending on what state they were in. And 2 of them seemed to be really good people. One of them smoked pot illegally, but that was cool, and it just made it more mellow. But 2 of the other judges that I have had the vast misfortune of knowing personally are cocaine addicts. One claims to be a cocaine dealer, and yeah, and you don't want to be in his court if he hasn't had his fix lately. And then another one routinely ask people for sex acts in exchange for favorable rulings. So these people are slime. I read about some guy in, I think, Alabama or Louisiana or somewhere over there in the southeast United States who was basically working with the cops to give people traffic tickets and DUIs and pick them up for small amounts of marijuana or something. Then he himself would go bail them out, and it was always women. He would go bail these people out of jail and then exchange sex for favorable rulings when he's the one who was in collusion to get them arrested to begin with. And the only reason I know about him is because he did get busted and castigated and punished and thrown off the bench and so forth. But these people are slimes, and these people are crimes. It is a crime against the entire American justice system for this kind of criminality on the basis of cops, sheriffs, deputies, judges. These people should be in jail. So I'm telling the San Francisco mayor, it is BS. The criminals that are ruining our cities are the ones running the game. And from what I can tell, in a lot of urban areas in America, it's the cops who are running the crime rings. Yeah, let's face it, America. We've gone horribly wrong. And we have greed and lust to blame. And from what I can tell, we have heroin, speed, and cocaine to blame. Let's fix it now.